The Sixers season is finally over. But the pain and suffering is just beginning. What did Daryl Morey say yesterday afternoon? Really? Phillies lose 2 out of 3 to the Cardinals this weekend. And I want to talk about hustle and Bryce Harper. Got to do it. And Rory McIlroy wins the Masters. Guys, trending in the AM on the STT Sports Network. We are live in 30 seconds.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 woo!
And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. Please, wherever you're watching, hit that like button, hit that share button, and please, please, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's how we get the word out of the number one morning show, Trending in the AM on the STT Sports Network, setting the trends for what sports talk should be. It's free to do. Doesn't cost you a thing. Click those buttons. Like, share, subscribe. It's that simple, guys. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel. And right when the countdown clock, so when I pre-set up these shows, there's a little countdown clock in the top corner for me of when it's scheduled to go live. Then I got to hit a button. And it's clicking down, ticking down. Clock is ticking. And all of a sudden, it says it's showtime. And do you want to go live? And I didn't want to go live today because I know the Sixers season's over. I'm glad the Sixers season's over. I wanted to talk about the Sixers season being over. But while I'm watching the Masters and watching Rory McIlroy complete his career Grand Slam, and we'll talk about that later in the show, Daryl Morey said he's going to be back. Daryl Morey said Nick Nurse is going to be back. And I am just saying, while the great feeling of the season being over hasn't even set in yet, I've already got to come to the realization that this dreadful Sixers team and organization is just going to run it back. So I didn't want to go live today because it's Monday. It's Easter week. I want new beginnings. Easter's all about new beginnings and springtime. The Sixers aren't going to have new beginnings. So I don't want to talk about it. But we got to talk about it. So that is part one of today's conversation. What is going on with the Sixers? Part two of the conversation. The Phillies dropped 2 of 3 against the Cardinals this weekend. And there's a lot of individual and team conversation to have. But the thing that I want to talk about, that nobody's talking about, is Bryce Harper and the hustle issue. God forbid we criticize Bryce Harper for not running out a ground ball. And look, it don't matter. The game where Bryce Harper didn't run out a ground ball, we ended up winning. Cool. But what is the one thing that's been wrong with this Phillies team that we've talked about a lot? There's no leader on this team. And when the supposed leader of the team, Bryce Harper, is not showing hustle, not running out a ground ball, sets a bad tone, sets a bad precedent for the team. And that, to me, is a problem. This is not the first time. And I've already called him out on social media, videos and all. Everyone tells me, why do you want to pull a hammy running out a ground ball in April? That's the worst response in the world. You play 100%, 100% of the time. You don't get scared of injuries. You set a precedent by not running out a ground ball. That it's okay to not give 100%. And it pisses me off. But it pisses me off even more that Philadelphia fans find it acceptable. I really do. Very unacceptable that the fan base finds it okay. If Jalen Hurts didn't hustle for 1 second out there, this city would be up in flames calling him out. But Bryce Harper does it. It's no big deal. And it pisses me off. And the final conversation that we're talking about today is obviously Rory McIlroy's huge win at the Masters yesterday. Massive, massive win for him. It was up and down. It was a roller coaster of emotions. I was live for 5 hours here on YouTube and Twitter. It was a blast. Thanks to everybody for hanging out, making it my most watched video of all time. Gained like 6 new subscribers. 9 away from 500 here. Let's go. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, guys. But Rory McIlroy completing his career Grand Slam. And the weight it took off his shoulders, it looked like. I mean, it was a hell of a final round of the Masters. A hell of a weekend of golf. And a hell of a just special weekend. The Masters being my favorite weekend. So let's get to the first few comments here. Great finish to the Masters on the same day the Phillies, Flyers, and Sixers all lost. Yeah, there was one good thing that came out of this weekend, Chet. One good thing, and that was the Masters. The rest of the weekend for Philadelphia sports was a disaster. Honestly, I didn't even know the Flyers played yesterday. Yes, K1 to everybody, just so no, was the one. He was there with me for 5 hours in the chat, watching the Masters with me. Watching the Masters, watching it all. So I appreciate your support yesterday, K1. Good morning, Rick. And Rick, I ask you, you're the one that says the Phillies are winning the World Series in 2025. Every opportunity you can say that. Do you find it okay that Bryce Harper continues to not run ground balls out? Do you find it acceptable that no one has the guts to call him out for it? Do you find it acceptable that Rob Thompson won't say anything to him? Won't discipline? Even Charlie Manuel had the balls to bench Jimmy Rollins for not running out ground balls. Mr. Players Manager. Even he had it. But it's okay for Bryce Harper to do it. And no one seems to be pissed off. And you're not winning a World Series when you have a team that does not take anything seriously. And that's my feeling from the Phillies. They don't take it seriously. The Phillies offense is so bad they have to get Bowman and Marsh off this team. Well, you'd be getting them off this team at our low point. You know, I saw my man Mike Gill from 97.3 put out a post. If the Phillies don't get things going soon, Dave Dombrowski's going to have to shake things up soon. Now, the time to shake things up was 3-4 months ago. Before spring training, in the offseason, chose not to do it. This is your team till at least the deadline. And it's going to be, what are we, 9-6? But we're 5-5 in our last 10. Which is exactly what we were last year after the trip to London. A 5-5 team. A 500 team. And it's just not good enough. NBA and MLB contracts almost enable this behavior until get the NFL type contracts. It's the problem. Yeah, maybe you're on to something. The players run the show, not the teams, not the coaches, whatever. But when there's an extreme issue with hustle and performance, and the guy that's supposed to be the leader in Bryce Harper continually gets away with laziness. And look, Bryce Harper's the best player in the Phillies. Bryce Harper comes up clutch in big moments all the time. But you got a guy like Alec Bohm that is in his own head and struggling. And you can see him wear his emotions on his sleeve and be frustrated. And then one of the big stars that he looks up to in Bryce Harper doesn't hustle. What's that going to tell him? That, well, you know, if Bryce ain't going to put the extra effort in, why should I? That's pathetic. The news that Daryl Morey will apparently be returning is travesty. He just, you know, I like how you put the apparently in parentheses there, Chet, because that was not from Josh Harris's mouth. That was not from his desk like a statement. That was just Daryl Morey after the game saying that. And if you see the pictures and the stills from that presser and that interview, and you don't think like me that Nick Nurse was disappointed in that statement, that Nick Nurse himself was hoping to get fired, that was the look on his face. How can you bring him back? How can Josh Harris bring him back? Well, he could do it because he just doesn't care. He could do it because no one's paying attention. He's not paying attention. The fact that they're already 1 day, 1 hour into the offseason saying, we're running it back. Joel will be fine. Paul George, there was a statement about Paul George on Saturday put out there, or Friday, that he's already ramping up from his surgery to be ready for the offseason training. We're already hearing the words ramp up for next season. Clueless. But you know what? There's a portion of social media. There's a portion of Sixers Twitter. There's a portion of Sixers, the young media, that say this is the right decision. Why wouldn't you keep these guys? And to those people, tell them you're crazy. To the people that think running it back with the Sixers is the right move, is crazy. And then they'll tell you, well, what's your alternative? It is not our job as fans or as media to come up with the alternative options. We could tell you that the option you've given us is a bad idea. We've just witnessed it. We could tell you it's a bad idea to bring it back. Not our job to find the replacement. That's your job as the owner, as the GM. So people saying that this is the best course of action, running it back, you're crazy. You're crazy to magically think that a snap of the finger, Joel, Paul, and everybody's just going to be fine and dandy next year. A year older, too, with more surgeries under their belt. It's crazy. Dave Dombrowski is asleep. Yeah. Daryl Morey and Dave Dombrowski are asleep behind the wheel of their respective organizations, Anthony. They absolutely are. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating. You're missing the point, Phil. Harper shouldn't be grounding out in the first place. Well, look, make jokes about it if you will. But this is not the first time that Bryce Harper has showed a lack of hustle over the last couple of years. And God forbid anybody on this team stands up to him. God forbid anybody says anything. God forbid Rob Thompson sits his ass down. If everyone says, oh, it's just a meaningless loss in April, it doesn't matter, it's a long season, well, then what's it mean to bench your best player to set a precedent? If you take out his 2024 season, Bohm is a zero WAR player over the last 5 years. He sucks. I don't think he sucks, Anthony. He's not as good as he was the first half of last year, but he doesn't suck. He is definitely in a mental space that he can't get out of. Problem is, who's going to help him get out of it? He gets moved to the 7 hole for like 2 games and then creeps back up the lineup already. He needs to be dropped to the 8 hole for a month, no matter what. Bohm's problem is he's got no one to help him get out of his slump because nobody seems to care. There's no accountability. Day 235 of calling out now. Yeah, exactly. I don't even know. I'm going to do a day 22 today video at some point. But that might be the end of it. I might keep going for another week. I don't know. Speaking of asleep, Colin was a snooze fest on Sunday. He couldn't pull it together over the last 2 days, Joe. Poor Colin Morikawa. Colin Morikawa played okay. He didn't play bad golf this weekend at the Masters. He just played okay golf. And you're not winning the Masters with okay golf. You got to be a stud to win the Masters like Rory McIlroy. What a performance from Rory McIlroy. He had some hiccups. Emotional roller coaster. Left the door open for a few guys yesterday. But still did a damn good job. Still pulled it out in the end. He needs to be trapped in the a-hole, lives rent-free in my mind from here on out. I said the 8-hole. I didn't say the a-hole, the 8-hole. My congested voice makes things sound like they're not. Peanut. Always trying to get me. Clip it out. Let's replay it back. I think I said the 8-hole. Maybe I didn't go 8-hole. I said 8-hole. Oh, man. Guys, please subscribe to Pixelated History's YouTube page, please. Sound like a-hole to me. Yeah, well, you know what? You know who the a-hole is? Josh Harris, if he really legitly is bringing back Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse. I still can't fathom a world where we're going to have to go through this Sixers season. Again, what did we do wrong to deserve this again? And you know what? They're going to sell us on it. They're going to tell us we're going to contend for a title. They're going to tell us all this stuff. And Sixers fans are going to fall for it again. Well, let me tell you something. I'm not falling for it. I will not fall for it again. No way I'm falling for that BS from the Sixers next year. No matter who's brought back or not. The Sixers with a top 5 pick is not going to be the answer. 3 amazing shots just on Sunday. 15th hole, second shot was amazing. The 17th hole, just because of the moment, but the 7th hole hoist above the trees. Yeah, the 7th hole above the trees, that was a special shot. That shot on 15 for a borderline tapping eagle from Rory, where he swept that ball around and drew that in there on the par 5. Joe, that's a championship level shot right there. That's there ain't nobody taking this title from me type shot. Yeah, I gave you a little glimmer of hope, but no. It's a shame he missed that putt on 18 to send it to the playoff. But that shot from Rory on 15 will be played every year in the Masters highlight reels. That's a shot that lives on in infamy forever. It just is. Congratulations to Rory McIlroy. All the Rory McIlroy backers. You know what pisses me off in the golf betting world is that being in the golf betting world and golf fantasy world, you know, we're so focused on our picks and not just watching golf. Having no money on Rory kind of pissed me off, but also made watching him go toe-to-toe with Bryson a little bit more fun. But also pisses me off because all year long, I've been saying it since week 1 of the golf season that Rory was winning the Masters. I kept saying it, and I talked myself out of betting him. I should have placed all my money, stuck to my guns, and had a full single bullet card on Rory. Should have. I didn't. That's my mistake. That is 100% my mistake. But anyway, back to the Sixers. Back to the Phillies. You got, you know, I've asked this question before. Are the Phillies closer to being a Sixers disaster or an Eagles Super Bowl? And I know Rick would say they're winning the World Series, so they're close to the Eagles. But when you break it down step by step, the dysfunction in the organization, the lack of accountability in each organization, the excessive amount of star players that don't come through in the clutch. This Phillies team is eerily similar. Dave Dombrowski and Daryl Morey are on the same path, where they just don't seem to understand where their teams really truly are. They spent money in the wrong directions and are unwilling to admit their mistakes. Daryl Morey blatantly saying, yeah, we made the right choice. We got to work on the peripheral a little bit. Got to build around the edges a little bit. Get our guys healthy, and we'll be fine. No, what you got to understand is Paul George was the wrong addition. The Joel Embiid contract was a bad idea. Got to find a way to get off of some of that. But no. We're going to tell you we're just running it back. And that's the wrong way to do things. That's the wrong way to do business. The Phillies needed to make a drastic change, shake it up. No, we're going to run it all back, players and coaches. We're going to tinker on the fringes again, just like the Sixers did. Tinker on the fringes. The Caleb Martins of the world are the same as the Max Keplers of the world. It's not good enough. Everyone was jumping for joy. Max Kepler, the steal of the offseason for the Phillies. Yeah, how's that going for you guys? Davey wants to switch the script right to the Eagles and absolutely would have no problem commenting on this. Davey, what position are the Eagles drafting first? Yeah, I'm still stuck on this question, Davey. It could be an edge. It could be a safety. It could be a defensive tackle. I think it should be a safety if one of the guys, I ran a mock draft yesterday and Starks fell to me at 32, then that's what it is. I think what's going to happen, Davey, you're going to see one of two things happen. Either there's a guy that Howie really likes that he's going to trade up to like pick 20, 22 to get, or he's going to wait till 32 comes around and see what's on the board. And then what's on the board will dictate how far back he trades in the first round. But it's going to be we're not going to know the answer until it happens. It's not like one of those years where he makes some pre-draft trades. It's going to be a in the heat of the moment kind of situation and wait to see how the board falls. Bullpen is iffy and the offense is bad. Not sure the starting pitching can make up for the other problems. Zach Wheeler got roughed up yesterday. I absolutely enjoyed the Masters. And if you did not enjoy the Masters, yesterday was the kind of Masters that if you're a first-time golf fan, you're hooked for life. Is that a great way to describe it to the Masters and the golfers out there? If you were watching yesterday for the first time, that was intense. That was fun. That was exciting. The Eagles won't draft the safety in the first round. Well, that's what we always said. But he's bucked the trend before with different things. A cornerback last year, paying big money to a linebacker and running back. Howie has pivoted. Now, I don't think they will. I would like them to draft the safety in the first round. If one of the top two guys is there. I'd even consider moving up a couple spots to do that. The biggest hole in the starting lineup is safety. Yeah, we need an edge. Yeah, we need a defensive tackle. We need an offensive tackle or guard. But that's for depth. The glaring hole is starting safety opposite of Reed Blankenship. Defensive tackle. Look, I would love one of the defensive tackles. Absolutely. But you can get a great defensive tackle by trading back into the second round or with your second round pick. And Davey, I've been very open about the fact that defensive tackle is a bigger weakness for the Eagles than people realize. Because Milton Williams played over 500 snaps. Morojomo cannot replace those snaps. He already played almost 400 last year. So maybe he takes on 100 or so. But you definitely need somebody that can step in and play immediately at defensive tackle. Edge and DT are for depth and future. Exactly. But you still need them in the second, third round. First round to me is you trade up or trade. You trade up or draft a safety. Or if one of the star guards drops a little bit, and then you make him your starting guard, right guard. DT or edge rusher, more than likely Eagles' first pick. More than likely. Absolutely. But I don't know. Might need a tight end too if the Goddard rumor is true. Goddard is going to get traded or cut. I don't think there's much trade value out there for Dallas Goddard, or he would have been traded already. I'm not drafting a tight end in the first round or even the second round, though. And I'd be shocked if Howie did it. But again, Howie's bucked the trends. So maybe tight end is the target. Nothing Howie would do on draft night next Thursday would surprise me. Nothing. That was one of the best Masters I've watched in some time. Wife was locked into the TV, the storylines, the dogs on the leaderboard. Great shot. Absolutely. Absolutely. That was the perfect Masters final round to kind of draw people in for the rest of the PGA Tour season. And the way Rory played and the weight that's off his shoulders. Joe, does Rory go for the – he got his career Grand Slam. I would be shocked if he won all the majors and went for a year-long Grand Slam. Can't get tight ends late in the draft, though. No, you can get a good tight end in the third or fourth round. But honestly, there's a chance where they don't draft a tight end, Davey. They got Bryant. They got Harrison Bryant and Granson. They signed 2 one-year deals. They still got Grant Calcaterra. Tight end, while a need, might not be the need we think it is. Mason Taylor's a guy I'm really hoping the Eagles can get. Best tight end in the draft, in my humble opinion. I know Tyler Warren is a good tight end, but Taylor is going to be a stud in this league. And what's the expected spot for him? He's ranked on PFN, Pro Football Network, as the 44th best player in the draft. So you're looking mid-second round, early second round. So maybe that's a situation where they trade back from 32 and take Mason Taylor with whatever they get in the second round for him. Maybe. Love the Ryder Cup too. I'm Europe though, baby. Look, I'm not a huge Ryder Cup. I'm not a fan of team golf. I know I'm a rare form in that most people love it, but that's just me. Rest in peace, Nikki Cat. What? I don't know what that means. I don't know. Eagles definitely taking Goddard's replacement this year. I don't think it's a definite. I don't think it's a lock, because to take Goddard's replacement means using a first or second round pick. And maybe it happens, Rick. But I'm not sure. Just as much as you could say he won't draft a safety in the first round, I could say the same thing about tight end. The same reasons you would say it. We all know Calcaterra can't block. That's fine. I mean, it's not fine that he can't block, but it's fine. That's why you brought in 2 other free agent, tight ends that can. You brought in those other guys who can block. And isn't that on the coaches to teach him how to block? Look, Dallas Goedert wasn't a great blocker when he first came into the league. Dallas Goedert had to learn how to be a blocking tight end. See, the thing is, and while we're talking Eagles here, the funny thing is, when we relate it to the Sixers and the Phillies, like, I have faith that if the Eagles want to keep Calcaterra as their top guy, that they'll find a way to train him to block better, teach him to block better, make him a better football player. If Nick Nurse and Daryl Morey or Dave Dombrowski and Rob Thompson were leading the Eagles, Grant Calcaterra bad blocking would just be acceptable. They wouldn't learn how to push him. They wouldn't do anything to teach him. Because status quo in those organizations are okay. Status quo is not okay with the Philadelphia Eagles. Why is Sanders stock dropping? You mean the quarterback Sanders? Yeah, I didn't know it was dropping. Maybe people are realizing he's not as good as his namesake says he is. I could definitely see Dallas being one of the teams. Let me look here real quick. They still got him on PFN ranked 7th. Obviously, Titans are taking Cam Ward, it looks like, at 1. Browns could take Sanders, probably won't. Giants could, they won't. Patriots don't need him. Jags don't need him. Raiders could, but won't. The Jets could take him. Panthers won't. Jets and Saints at 7 and 9 are where I could see him going. And if not, then he could fall to 12 in the Dallas Cowboys. Legitly. If I'm the Saints, I'm calling the Eagles. Because I don't know what happened, but I heard that there was an injury to Derek Carr. And their projected starting quarterback is now out for a significant amount of time. I don't know what happened or how it happened. So Kellen Moore now down there in New Orleans needs a quarterback. And if I'm Kellen Moore, I'm calling Philly. And I know we got rid of Kenny Pickett already. And I know it would make us thin at quarterback too. But if I'm New Orleans, I'm calling Philly for Tanner McKee. And if I'm Philly, I'm finding a way to get as much draft capital out of Kellen Moore in New Orleans. Now, again, I'm not sure what happened to Derek Carr. I just saw somebody comment that Carr was out for a significant period of time and that they need a quarterback now. We did not get to 495 yet. Start the day at 491. We're at 492. So we have gained some subscribers. There are 9 likes on this video so far, and we're at 492 subscribers. So, guys, like, share, subscribe. It's that easy. There's 9 likes on this video, but 12 people watching in YouTube right now. So that means some of you haven't hit that like button, which is right there. It's real easy. Share. Very easy. Subscribe. If we get to 495 today, that would be 3 more subscribers today. So easy to do. And Peanut, I'll get to you. I'll get you your video that you need later today. Oh, shit. Keep forgetting we have a new OC. He gives me Brian Johnson vibes. Look, I'm not worried about Kevin Patullo. I got it right that time. I said Patullo. I keep getting called out because I keep saying Kevin Patullo or Patula. It's Patullo, and I keep saying Patula. But, yeah. Look, I have no problem with it. We'll see how it goes. I'll be cautiously optimistic. The Eagles have earned the right to be trusted. Where the Sixers and the Phillies get blind trust from so many people, the Eagles have actually had a reason to be trusted. The Phillies and Sixers do not. But the Eagles do. So if Kevin Patullo is the guy, I'm going to trust him. I'm going to have faith in him. Lots of bangers yesterday in the UFL. If you're watching UFL football over the Masters and my live 5-hour-plus live stream, again, tip the cap to everybody that tuned in, even if it was just for a minute. Between YouTube and Twitter, there was over 5,000 views for my live stream yesterday. We only gained 6 new subscribers, but thank you. We are at 492 now. Come on. We're so close. I can taste it. You know what's going to happen as soon as we get to 500. Then I'm just going to keep the 1,000 train going. Then it's going to be till 1,000. But, whatever we do with the Eagles, I trust them. I trust Howie. If Howie wants to draft a defensive tackle, if he wants to draft Lane Johnson's replacement in the first round and do that, I'm going to have faith in his plan. I am going to have faith in whatever Howie does. Why? Because he's earned that right. You multitask well? So do I. I was eating cookies, drinking beer, and watching golf at the same time. That's multitasking. And doing a show all at the same time. That's multitasking. Daryl Morey doesn't have to multitask this offseason for the Sixers. He's already got a coach because he's not firing his coach. He's already got all his star players because he's not changing that. All he's going to do is draft somebody with the 5th overall pick or wherever they land. What is his experience, though, Phil? Bet Sirianni will be designing the play calls. Well, he's been here since 2021 working in different capacities. He has never called plays. Yes, I get that. And that is a concern for me. I wanted an experienced play caller. But he's been here and working for a long time and learning. You got to have faith when you're a team with the success of the Eagles that the next guy is being trained to take over. We got to be training the next Vic Fangio right now. Phil eats them gummies like candy. I had a big one last night. Yeah. Good morning, Little G. Hope you are well. Barbara in the house this morning. Good morning. Morey said next year Embiid and George will not be injured. The Sixers will win a championship. Dude, I don't know if I'm laughing, Barbara, or crying, or pissed off, or just don't care. Like, I don't know how to. I don't even know if what he said is true. Like, did Josh Harris tell him like 2 weeks ago, don't worry, you're good? Until I hear from Josh Harris, I don't know if I truly believe it. but yet Josh Harris don't care and don't know. Like, literally, this weekend, Barbara, was it after Friday's game or was it before yesterday's game that they were already talking about using the words ramping up for Paul George from his injury so they can have a full offseason of training? Like, really? How in the world? You know what's going to happen, Barb? They're going to announce the official return of the black Allen Iverson Sixers jerseys. They're going to say that is what's going to excite people to come out. Like, it's laughable. So much laughable from the Sixers and Phillies this weekend that I don't even know how to feel. I don't know how to feel. I put the green jacket on at the end of the show yesterday. I got up to get a beer. It was before the playoffs started. I put the green jacket on for the playoff hole. I did. Go back and fact check that. I put the green jacket on. Morey is the GM equivalent of Joe Biden. Well, I don't get political, so I don't know that comparison. I'm not going to address that comparison. But we could say that Daryl Morey is bad at his job. That's debatable. I mean, I was drinking a lot, but I definitely put the green jacket on at the end. If it only took a surgery that put him beat at full strength in 6 weeks, then why didn't they fix him years ago? Like, what did Morey say yesterday? They spoke to 10 different doctors to decide on what's it. They talked to 6 doctors to agree to get him to sign his extension. And now they talk to 10 doctors to figure out what kind of surgery, which we still don't even know, Barbara, what the surgery is. Just throwing the words arthroscopic knee surgery could mean literally a dozen things. Basically means that they're going to cut open his knee, go in there, and look around because they don't know what to fix. Daryl Morey can't accept the fact, and neither can Joel Embiid, that he's basically just got degenerative knees. He's got Greg Oden knees. Basically, wasn't that was wrong with Yao Ming's feet that ended his career early? Like, seriously. But don't worry, Barb. He'll be healthy next year. We'll be fine next year. Get the hell out of here, Daryl Morey, with those kind of comments. 5 doctors said he should retire. Then they found number 6. Exactly. Bad. They talked to 10 doctors because the first night had bad news. Exactly. Like, I wouldn't be staking my reputation as a doctor on Joel Embiid's knee. Look, say what you will about Joel Embiid. I wish he would have figured it out. I wish he'd be fine. I wish we could have won a title with him. He had the potential to be the greatest Sixers basketball player of all time. He had the potential to be a top 5 center in the history of the NBA. Degenerative knees are degenerative knees. It happens. It's time to move on. Sixers are a bad organization. Did you see Harden yesterday? No, what did James Harden do yesterday? I mean, I saw somebody else tweet something about Harden. Maybe my man Scotty. But I didn't actually look about what was going on. I know they made the playoffs. I know they played well this year. I know he's an outside fringe kind of like top 10 MVP caliber season this year. But what did he do yesterday? And I can't believe. Well, actually, James Harden's success now with the Clippers makes me realize that he was right. We should have kept James Harden. And that Morey should have gone then. Not now. We're not getting into politics. Morey's like Anthony Blinken then. I don't want to even address the comparison. We could say that Daryl Morey is like Dave Dombrowski, asleep at the wheel. We could say that Daryl Morey cares more about the Grandmaster Chess Championships than building a winning Sixers organization. We can say that Daryl Morey doesn't even know how to build a winning organization. Because when has he ever built it? At least with Dave Dombrowski. I'm frustrated as hell with Dave Dombrowski and the Phillies. I'm frustrated with their direction, their attitude, and everything. But at least Dave Dombrowski can put up his hand and say, look, I got a World Series ring. I've been to multiple World Series. What's Daryl Morey ever done? But caused half the NBA to hate him. to not trust him. I just got a whiff of I got to clean my microphone thing. Sitting down here yesterday for 5 hours and drinking a dozen beers. I spit a little bit when I talk. It smells a little bit like skunk beer now, my thing. I got to clean this up. Harden didn't want to be in Philadelphia. That seems to be the problem with lots of players. But why don't they want to be in Philadelphia? Is it Daryl Morey? Is it they don't want to play with Joe? It can't be Nick Nurse because Nick Nurse hasn't been here for very long. But do they not want to play in Philly because of Daryl Morey or Joel Embiid? Or a combination of both because Daryl Morey doesn't hold Joel Embiid accountable. Because it could be both. Morey is the bad manager at Applebee's. Wait, hold on. I was a manager at Applebee's. 4 waiters conversing at the entrance. Meanwhile, I haven't got my soda after 15 minutes of being seated. Well, I was a Rose Group manager for close to 3 years. I was not one of the bad ones. I was kind of one of the in-between ones. Would James Harden made us a championship team? Would he be better? Yes. But none of his moves outside of 2 draft picks have worked out. Morey is not the answer. It's funny, Big Al, that everyone says we've got to keep Daryl Morey because of Tyrese Maxey and Jarrett McCain. And that is a load of hocus pocus. And everyone says that we got to keep Daryl Morey because he was able to get us all this in a trade to get when we got rid of James Harden. Well, A, James Harden went elsewhere and was successful, and B, James Harden was his own mistake. So he doesn't get credit for fixing his mistake. And no one expected Tyrese Maxey. Maxey fell into the 20s. And Tyrese Maxey, I love him. He's the lone bright spot on this team. But the thing is that he's still a Robin to a Batman. Still drinking 12 beers on a stream as a boss. Look, my mic is now. Yeah, it's a little. I must have spit a little skunk. It's got a little skunky beer smell to it now. The organization makes players not want to come. The place is a real shit show. Absolutely. You didn't have to abbreviate it. You could say it's shit show. It is. And the organization is a major problem. And they don't have money to bring in any big pieces this offseason. This offseason, the Sixers are going to be about fringe pieces and that top 5 draft pick. That's it. Re-signing Yabusele and Quentin Grimes. They're basically going to say, here, this process level team you've watched for the last 2 weeks, plus Joel and Paul George and Tyrese Maxey, it's going to be good enough. It's mostly Embiid. The stupid process was a massive failure. I think it's a combination of Embiid and Morey, but I think Joel Embiid. I mean, what's the common denominator in this failure of an era? Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid wants to be the guy, doesn't want to take a step back when he needs to, does not want to work on his conditioning and staying healthy and changing his game. It's a shit show, and whether it's Embiid or whether it's the organization, you know what I fear? You know what I fear with the Sixers organization, how few people want to be here? I fear that Tyrese Maxey at some point is going to get frustrated and be like, yo, I want out. And Tyrese Maxey's not a guy I want to see leave this organization. While he can't be the centerpiece you build around, he's a big piece that you can build towards a championship with. And he's young, relatively injury-free throughout his career. I don't want to see Tyrese Maxey ask out. Is there anybody in the Phillies that could say, I want out of the city, that would be upset about leaving? Like, I'd be upset if Maxey or McCain asked out of the city. Is there anybody on the Phillies that I'd be upset at? I mean, Zach Wheeler, yeah, I'd be upset if he asked out. I guess Bryce Harper would upset me, even though he doesn't run out ground balls. Did Nuggies make the playoffs? The Denver Nuggets made the playoffs. Embiid made Simmons and Fultz go insane. They were fine until they got around him. Wow, that's interesting. It's an interesting angle to take. Would have Ben Simmons or Marco Fultz was just the injury issue as well. So I don't know. And even after he left here, he got hurt with Orlando a few times. But would Simmons have been a better player if he was drafted to a team and not forced to play next to Joel Embiid? I don't have a notebook here, so I left my notebooks at work, or I would write that down as a tweet for later. Would Ben Simmons have been better without Joel Embiid? I think it's an interesting thought process. I've said it before, the Sixers are the Cowboys. They absolutely are the Cowboys, and I've agreed with you now on this. They are the Cowboys of the NBA. No doubt about it. Schwarber turned down an extension in the offseason. People will be upset if he leaves. Yeah. I mean, Kyle Schwarber's playing in an MVP. He's probably one of the lone bright spots so far through 15 games for the Phillies. What's he up to now? 6 home runs now in the season already? It's not even June. Was there an official statement that he did turn down an extension? Because they've still been discussing that. Maybe Schwarber wants out of here. I know him and Topper are tight as thick as thieves, but maybe. Phil, more bad news. Schwarber refused the contract. See, when did this news come out? I mean, Anthony and you are now saying this, Barb. How did I miss this officially? Like, I know there were rumors that they were discussing it, but I didn't know there was an official statement that he turned one down from any of the reporters. And I missed that. Simmons was a head case. I do not believe that. The writing was on the wall before he was drafted. Yeah. I mean, Ben Simmons was a head case. But on the flip side of it, he was extremely athletic. Ben Simmons needed to go to like a San Antonio or something like that. A city that just doesn't care. Where he could have just done with a coach that would have just let him play defense and run the floor. That's what he needed. Phil, dude, just call me Mr. No Notes. If you know, you know. Just call me Mr. No Notes. No notebook today. I got scratch paper here. It's my old ad reads from the EOP days that I use as a mouse pad. And that's it. Just call me Mr. No Notes. Jim Salisbury said it during the game. I missed that. It was a busy weekend for me. I don't know. My focus this weekend outside of work was golf. I had golf on literally from 8:30 a.m. here during the shows and at work straight through the end of the day. So I watched nothing else this weekend but golf. They just reported, somehow I missed that. And you know what? What does that say? Either were the Phillies too cheap in their extension, or does Schwarber not sure if he wants to be here next year? You don't want to call me Mr. No Notes? The best in the biz. Is that what he used to say? The best in the biz. I better watch what I say. I'm going to end up getting a 30-second voice message from him. Voice recording. Oh, guys. Ben Simmons is coming off the bench for the Clippers. Ben Simmons. Can I want to see the Clippers win the title this year. They're not going to. But I want to see the Clippers win the title. So Ben Simmons gets a championship before Joel Embiid. Could you imagine that? I forgot he was on the Clippers. I knew that, but I kind of forgot about it. Could you imagine if Ben Simmons and James Harden are hoisting the NBA championship? What would be the cryptic tweet that we have to overreact to from Joel Embiid? Like, seriously. That just popped into my head with your comment, mister. Could you imagine? Like, he will call you out on social media so you can debate. He's done that to me many a time. It's just a joke. I you know me. I'm not a beefer kind of guy. I don't beef with people, but I always find him comical. Marsh is hitting 108, and Thompson keeps putting him in there. Bohm's not much better than that, Barb. Right? Honestly, who is doing good on the Phillies? I'm going to pull up yesterday's box score. The two losses this weekend, by the way, they had a combined 6 hits in 2 of the games. Like, you're really going to win a lot of games like that. But let's see here. JT's at 238. Bohm's at 150. Marsh is at 108. Well, Kepler didn't play yesterday, so I don't know where he's at. Let me go to Saturday's game, see where Kepler is. Max Kepler's a flat 200. So, yeah. The Phillies are pretty dreadful at the plate right now. Cowboys, so no playoffs ever. Mid-quarterback, doo-doo team. What? We're not talking about the Cowboys right now. Ben Simmons made one shot his last 5 games played. But he's got a better chance at a title than Joel Embiid this season. Just remember that. Haven't watched much NBA since Sixers blow, but I saw the Suns miss the playoffs. Who was the worst spot? It's a good question. It's a good question, Joe. They went all in. They brought in Durant, Booker. Or they had Booker. They brought in Durant and Beal. That didn't work out. That's got to be a disappointing season. At least they didn't have the massive injury issues that we did all year long. I don't know who's in a worse spot, though. I think the Sixers. Aaron Nola cuts Bohm hair now. She's in complete control. Did she cut his hair? I missed that, too. Again, all Masters this weekend. I watched no baseball, Barb, so I missed that if he cut his locks. If Bohm don't watch it, Aaron Nola going to drop him. Like fifth period French. She ain't going to stay with a bum that can't hit a baseball. I'm just kidding. It's going to be pretty shallow if that's the reason why they broke up. What? No notebook like that? Like Martin with no what? What are we talking about? Martin and Gina from the show. Martin. Clippers beat the Golden State Warriors in Frisco yesterday. The Western Conference is very good. Yeah, actually, let's see. NBA standings. Western Conference. The Clippers are in the 5 seat. They're going up against the Nuggets in the first round. That'd be a banger of a conference or first round matchup right there. Banger right there. Like a flight with no visa. What are you rambling on about today? What are you rambling on about today? I don't even know. But what I do know, it's almost the top of the hour. So let's just say you're watching Trend in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. Please like, share, subscribe, guys. It's very easy. It's free to do. Does not cost you a thing. Let me double check. Let me refresh the side screen. Right now, we're at 492 subscribers. We got 11 likes on this video, which is obviously not good enough considering there's more than that watch the show. So like, share, subscribe, please. I like the T-Wolves. I hope they beat the Lakers. NBA standings. So they're in the 6th seat. Lakers are the 3. Yeah, I'm an Anthony Edwards fan. So I'd like to see them beat the Lakers so that Luka trade doesn't pay off. Rockets are a 2 seed. That's just crazy to me. Who's going to come out of the 7 through 10? Kings, Mavericks. Probably the Kings there. Golden State, Memphis. I think it's going to be Golden State and the Mavericks that come out. So it'll be Rockets, Golden State, and the Oklahoma City Thunder playing the Mavs there. That's probably my guess there. Where your notebook? Reset time. My notebook's missing. I think I left it at work. That's my guess. So no notebook. Can't help it. Forgot it. Had it at work for golf stuff all weekend. Left it there on Saturday night. So, oops. So we're just winging it today. We're just winging it. Yeah, I think the Warriors got the 7. They're still good enough for that. And the Warriors could, in theory, beat the Rockets with their playoff experience in the first round. I don't think they'd get past the first round, the Warriors, but I think they could beat, in theory. The Houston Rockets are a good basketball team, but they're young and they don't have that playoff experience yet, so they could. The Eastern Conference, Cleveland's the 1 seed. So let's go to the play-in games first. Magic are the 7 versus the Hawks. I like the Magic over the. Oh, hold on. Let's go the other way. Heat, Bulls. Probably the Heat, but it could be the Bulls. I actually think that it would be. I think the Magic and the Hawks will be those 2 teams. So it'd be Cavaliers, Hawks. Cavs will take that. Celtics, Magic. Celtics will take that. Knicks versus Detroit. I'll be rooting for Tobias Harris in Detroit there over the Knicks big time. Pacers, Bucks. I'd like to see the Pacers there. Yeah. I think it's still Cavs and Celtics. They're the only 2 teams that have a chance in the Eastern Conference to come out. In the Western Conference, I'd be going OKC, Minnesota, the Clippers, And unfortunately, the Lakers, all four of those teams really have a chance to come out there. We are less than 2 weeks. Next Thursday, we're going to be live for the first round. There'll be no Friday show after the draft, most likely. But we will go live for the entirety of the first round right here on this channel. I'd go for Bulls over Miami. I never liked the Heat. Yeah, no, and they're not as good as they used to be. Their window's kind of closed. But I even if it's Bulls over Heat, then they would have to play the loser of the 7-8 game, which I still think the 7 and 8 team are better than the Bulls and the Heat. Is basically what I'm getting at. Look at that! You just got me predicting the first few rounds of the NBA playoffs right there. Didn't expect to do that, but I did. If I had to pick today who will be playing in the NBA Finals, I hate going chalk, but it's going to be the lowest rated finals of all time, in my opinion, when it's Cleveland versus Oklahoma City. And SGA wins the NBA Finals MVP. That's my prediction. I predict chalk versus chalk with OKC winning the championship. If you wanted a sleeper team, Minnesota would be my sleeper team with Anthony Edwards catching fire. And in the East, my sleeper team secretly would be the Detroit Pistons, but they won't get that far. So that's my NBA playoff predictions right there. We'll see what happens. When do the play-in games start? When's the play-in games pick up? Let me go to NBA schedule here. Monday. Oh, they start the play-in games right away. No, the first play-in games are Tuesday. Okay, gotcha. Anyway, guys, please like, share, subscribe. Let's continue on. We're talking Phillies. We're talking Sixers. We're talking all this stuff. And while we talk the Eagles and Sixers a lot, I want to get back to the Bryce Harper hustle conversation here as we get to the second half. Is there any athlete on any Philadelphia sports team or anywhere, Memphis Showboats, you're not a Philly sports fan. Is there any athlete in any sport that gets the pass that Bryce Harper does for not hustling? You know, it's funny. Every time Bryce Harper doesn't hustle on a ground ball, it seems like the defender bobbles it, and he could have beat it out. It happens multiple times every year to Bryce Harper. And every time it happens, I call it out. And I don't understand why so many fans say to me when I get pissed off, they tell me, what? Do you want to pull in a hammy on a ground ball in the 4th inning of April? And you know what? You don't play scared. You don't play and not hustle because you're scared of getting injured. And it drives me nuts that we find it acceptable that Bryce Harper doesn't have to hustle 100% of the time. We lack leadership on the Phillies. We lack some accountability with the Phillies. It should not be acceptable. But it is. And I constantly get told I'm wrong. That it is okay. But if anybody else didn't hustle, every time Joel Embiid just lackadaisically walks up and down the court, we call him out for it. Every time he doesn't play defense, we call him out for it. Every time Ben Simmons passed up the shot, we called him out for it. Every time that anybody on the Eagles didn't give 110%, we called him out on it. But Bryce Harper, it's no big deal. And it drives me crazy. I did say TMJ, not TMZ, my bad. What's up, Eric? Gatekeeper, you're in the house. We are. 492 we're at now. 8 away. Let's go. It's very easy. It's like, it's share, it's subscribe. After getting evaluated 10 doctors, Sixers are confident Dr. Jonathan L. Glasgow has done a successful orthopedic surgery. What's this? Did he have his surgery just now or something? I don't even know. Is that new? The shine is definitely wearing off on Harper, and he still wants more money with 6 years to go on his deal. Well, I get him wanting more money, and I don't even know if he wants it or if it's his agent that pushed for that. But he does get significantly underpaid based off of his production. But he did sign the contract, so I get that as well. But see, the thing is, maybe you and I feel the shine is wearing off, Barb, but a majority of Phillies Nation doesn't. They still eat out of the palm of his hands. And yeah, he'll come up with clutch home runs and clutch base hits and and whatnot. And I'll wear cool headbands and cool socks and shoes. Cool. But when you are the leader of this team, whether he likes it or not, he's the leader of this team. And you do not run out a ground ball. You just say, how could he call out Bohm or Marsh or Stott when they struggle or don't hustle? You can't. It's like when Joel Embiid tried to call out Kelly Oubre this year for not hustling back on defense. And Oubre looked at him like, yo, you did the same thing. The leaders, the stars, the top paid players have to set the example. And it's okay that Bryce Harper doesn't do it. And it pisses me off something terrible. I flamed Morey on the Sixers. Dude, the Sixers, we spent a lot of time on Morey already. We can spend more time. TMJ Terrence Marshall Jr., we talked about him on Friday being signed with the Eagles. It is what it is. Harper wants the money. I saw an interview where he said he needs to know where his family will be in 7 years. Look, I get it. That part of it's Harper saying he wants to play till he's a certain age. Part of it is, let's break down the numbers. He signed a 13-year, $330 million deal. I think he came out to like 27 million per year. 27 million per year puts him in like not even the top 20 highest paid players in baseball. So the business side of it, I get it. Attack on 2 years and extra $50 million, all deferred, and you can retire, whatever, be happy. I get that. But what I don't get is the fact he doesn't have to run out ground balls. To me, that's more infuriating than him asking for more money. What the leaders have to say, they have to set the trends. That's right. They have to set the trends for what hustling and leadership looks like. He ain't no kid anymore. He ain't no snotty-nosed kid anymore. And we're probably going to get a second surgery on game night shortly after we get the new PG will only play every other home game and 23 away games. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I wonder if Josh Harris has decided to keep Daryl Morey and Nick Nurse because Chat GPT told him to. Is Harper insinuating that John Middleton is a deadbeat, cheapskate owner? I don't know what he's insinuating at. But, John Middleton's obviously spent a lot of money. The problem is he spent the money in the wrong places. That's why we still have no bullpen. We still have 9 inconsistent hitters. Oh, Eric knows. Eric's the leader of the clubhouse. Win a championship, get an extension. That easy. Yeah. Win a championship, Saquon Barkley got an unnecessary $40 extra million. Howie Roseman rewarded his players for winning a Super Bowl. And what's Bryce Harper done? Outside of give me Ajita all the time. Look, and I'll be honest. I didn't see the Bryce Harper play live. Watching the Masters, of course. Instead. But when that's what I see on my phone, that Bryce Harper is anti-hustle again. And everyone's saying it's okay. You notice, Rick said Phillies win World Series once in this show. But you notice Rick said not even comment on this. Because he knows that Bryce Harper not hustling is a bad thing. And it's, how do I say this the polite way? It's the era we live in where people these days just aren't accountable. If you, each and every one of you, Barb, Big Al, Mr. Eric, K1, if you guys did not give 100% at your job and consistently slacked off, what would happen to you at your job? Would your boss say, cool, no big deal. Go get him next time, slugger. Or would you be held accountable? Would you be yelled at? Would you be docked? Would you be sent home for the day? Would you be your shifts cut back? What would happen? It would definitely go into your pay raise the next time. There is a serious accountability issue with the Phillies. And starts with Rob Thompson. If I was Rob Thompson, win or lose, if games in April are as meaningless as people tell me they are, I would have sat his ass immediately. Said, you don't hustle. And it's happened before. And he claims, oh, me and Rob, we talked about it, and I won't do it again. And he's right back out there. I would have pulled him from the game immediately, and he would have not have played on Sunday. Didn't help that he played on Sunday anyway. At least you would set the tone that that's not acceptable. Phillies have no catcher after this year, too. JT can't be here anymore. It's all falling apart. Yeah, I don't know what you do, Barb. I know everybody wants the Schwarber extension. In theory, a short-term extension for JT might be more important just because we don't have a catcher. Now, I don't know how you give him an extension because, again, he's falling apart to an extent. Not quite the hitter he ever was. Still a really good defensive catcher. He's not the best catcher in baseball anymore. So I don't know what you do with catcher. And the biggest problem with catcher is that Logan O'Hoppe should be the catcher. But he's not because of Brandon Marsh. And Brandon Marsh stinks at this point. I was always one of the guys, give Marsh more time. Give him a chance. Well, now we're into like year 400 of Marsh, so he is what he is. That's the problem. And I don't want to hear that Marsh or O'Hoppe would have been blocked by JT. No, you would have found a way to get O'Hoppe into the bigs. You would have. I mean, half my staff does, so, and I accept that. Marsh is the catcher if JT moves on. Marshawn ain't that special, Anthony. He's not. Marshawn, when JT moves on after this year, if he moves on, you're going to have a situation at catcher kind of like the Flyers with goalie. You're going to have 2 or 3 backup catchers on this team all battling out for minutes, for at-bats. You're going to have 2 guys like Marshawn that each play like 70-some games. You're not going to have a starting catcher. He's not that good, Marshawn. You can't turn the reins of 115, 120 games over Rafael Marchand. You just can't. Marsh needs to go, and Stott seems to be a part-time player. Lots of problems. Yeah, I thought we were going to have a Stott turnaround. He's healthy, supposedly, is what we were told. Doesn't look that way, Barb. But again, why should Stott hustle more? Their leader, their boss, Bryce Harper, don't do it. Now, Marsh and Stott should have some self-awareness and understand that their careers are like Harper don't care. Harper's getting $300 million. He don't care. Don't matter. Stott and Marsh aren't making that kind of money. They should be trying to earn those paychecks. They're not. Those next paychecks. Is there a team in MLB that constantly change up their batting order? It's so erratic in Philly. It is. Like, whatever happened to the same lineup day in and day out? Whatever happened to the days of a set leadoff hitter, a set, cleanup hitter every single day? Now we're getting Schwarber not just in leadoff, not just in the cleanup hole. Now, yesterday they had him in the 3-hole. Let me tell you something. Kyle Schwarber is not a 3-hole hitter. You're not wrong, Barb. A lot of guys on this team are protected by Harper. It's crazy. And look, I'm not asking for Harper to be traded or be kicked out of town or anything. He's a great Philly. But the thing is, Harper has so much control in this team. He can make this team better if he set a better example. That's the problem. Like, I don't want Harper having so much power. But I also don't want him I want him to show these guys what to do. Lead by example. Not protect them. Like, I just don't I don't know what you do. What you do is you fire Rob Thompson and you bring in a John Tortorella type manager that's going to hold everybody accountable. If a John Tortorella personality was managing the Phillies right now, Bryce Harper would have been benched for not hustling. Now, Bryce Harper might have overreacted and said, get the F out of here or get me out of here. And then you cross that bridge when it comes. It's all about setting a culture and a philosophy. Let me tell you something. If Bryce Harper was on the Philadelphia Eagles, and let's say Bryce Harper was a wide receiver, and he didn't block a play properly or didn't run a route properly, or if Bryce Harper was, alligator arms a play in football, Jalen Hurts would be right in his face. Nick Nurse would be right in his face. Everybody would be in his face. The fans, the media, everybody would be calling him out. But no, you're not getting that. Are you trying to call Bryce Harper the crumb of the day? I see what you did there. If you know, you know. Harper thinks he's LeBron James of the MLB. He's going to take his talents to South Beach. Well, Harper is not the LeBron James of the MLB. Bryce Harper doesn't even have a World Series. Bryce Harper didn't win a World Series with they won. The Nationals won it after he left, right? Forgive me if I'm wrong there. Bryce has never won a World Series. Exactly. Well, I don't know. Girardi was a terrible manager too. Let's be honest. Joe Girardi was pretty clueless on how to write in a lineup and how to manage a club. But Joe Girardi had this look of, I don't want. Joe Girardi had the Nick Nurse look that he didn't want to be here. Maybe that was because the players didn't listen to him. Why are you being like this towards Bryce Harper? So so finally somebody's here in the comments that thinks it's okay that Bryce Harper doesn't hustle. Zach, it's not okay to not hustle every play. We've been very open. Bryce Harper is the best player on the Phillies. Bryce Harper is an amazing baseball player. But Bryce Harper takes plays off, and it sets a bad example on a team that has no leadership and no philosophy and no culture. It's not a good look when your team has hype but no success. When Stott and Marsh have no one to hold them accountable. We love Bryce Harper. There's no one that doubts Bryce Harper's skills. And no one that doubts Bryce Harper is the best Philly in the last 20, 30 years. Bryce Harper's probably better than anyone that was on the Phillies during the 2008 era. He's probably a better baseball player than Chase Utley. But he still doesn't hustle. I thought he never won one. I was pretty sure on that. Bryce, like J-Roll, should hustle every play, I'm sure. Look, but see, the thing is, J-Roll, Charlie Manuel had no problem in benching J-Roll multiple times for not hustling and running plays out. Multiple times J-Roll got benched. And he learned from it. Again, Bowman Marsh might be lazy. And you know what? It might be because their leader, their guy that they look to, is as well. Bryce will correct it. Why? This is not the first time he hasn't hustled out a ground ball. He does this multiple times every year, all the time. And every time it turns out that it would have resulted in him getting on base, too. Why this year will he correct it? Because you think they're going to win a World Series? So he's just going to magically stop doing it? He's never stopped. The 2008 Phillies versus the 25 Phillies. Who wins in a 7-game series? The 2008 Phillies would smash the 25 Phillies. They had a little heart in them. Bryce does hustle his ass off. Most plays. No. You can't say he hustles most plays. You need to hustle all the time. There's no taking plays off. Him not running out ground balls is not acceptable, and this is a problem. That people, no offense, Rick, like you, defend him so it's okay to take plays off. It is not okay to take plays off in sports. He has lazy tendencies sometimes. He does. It's not acceptable. And this is the problem. Too many Phillies fans find it acceptable that Harper doesn't run ground balls out. It's not acceptable. It's not, and it never will be, and it shouldn't be. And the fact that you guys are saying it's okay, it's no big deal, annoys me. It's not the way it should be. Harper got $325 million, and after 2.5 years, he retired from playing. Well, he didn't retire from playing it. He got hurt. Playing first baseman got him back on the field quicker than going to the outfield. He would have had to stay as a DH longer if he didn't go to first base. And he turned out to be pretty damn good at first base. And he has offered to go back to the outfield now if the Phillies wanted to. I didn't say he doesn't hustle all the time. I said he takes plays off. It's not acceptable and it's not okay. All right? I didn't say he's lazy all the time. I said he has lazy tendencies at times. All right? Don't change the words. Address the words, which are, it's not acceptable to set that example on this team. And it's not acceptable for Rob Thompson to find it acceptable. Every time this happened in the past, he's like, oh, well, me and Rob Thompson talked about it. I won't do it again. And then here we are talking about it again. A leader should not be, it should not be acceptable for a leader to be like this. And if anybody on the Philadelphia Eagles, anybody on the Philadelphia 76ers acted like Bryce Harper does, we'd crush them. We'd kill them. We have crushed and killed them on this show and other shows. But Bryce Harper does it. God forbid we criticize Bryce Harper. It's not okay when the entire team is, it's not acceptable ever. But when your team is struggling and then they see the top player do that, it's even more unacceptable. I mean, it's true. It's true. We love his personality because he's here. We hate him when he would be on another team. Things are magnified when a team is cold as the team currently is. I mean, if the Phillies were 15, well, they played 15 games. If the Phillies were 14-1, Big Al, right now, I'd still be calling that BS out. Because that's what it is. It's BS. And the fact that I've got to defend this theory that it's not acceptable because people say it's okay, it's nonsense to me. Bum is a terrible third baseman, but he can't move to first base because Harper has a bum arm. Supposedly Harper's arm is okay to go back to the outfield, mister. It's healed enough. The problem is, do you risk putting him back in the outfield and getting hurt again? Harper did say in the offseason, and I mean, he didn't use Pete Alonso's name, but basically hinted at Pete Alonso, if they wanted to bring him in to play first base, he would slide to the outfield. Well, a few of you are making it sound like, you know, it's not that it's not acceptable, but you're making it sound like that what he did was okay. What it sounds like to me is that I'm making a bit too big of a deal out of it. And I'm not, because this is not the first time it's happened. That's what I feel. Bohm doesn't hit enough to play first base. Bohm don't hit enough, period, right now. Plain and simple. Now, this is a big series. We got 3 games against the Giants at home. We're back to being an average baseball team like we were all last year. All right, so maybe not enough people are saying it here, but I'm getting plenty of hits on Twitter, plenty of hits on YouTube of people saying that I'm wrong. I've been told I've been wrong for 2 years of talking about Harper's hustle issues from time to time. I was told last night on my short, I don't know whether it was Twitter or TikTok that this response. Do you want him to get a hammy pull because he had to try to run out a ground ball in the 4th inning of an April baseball game? And I said, you don't play scared. So I've been told many times, you don't risk injury by hustling every ground ball in meaningless baseball games. I've been told that, Rick, literally dozens of times over the last few years. See, the thing is, that lack of hustle in April sets a tone for the rest of the year. Phillies beat a Rockies team earlier that hasn't scored a run in over 3 games now. Yeah, I try to tell everybody, those first 2 series of the Washington and Rockies were not who this team was. Oops, sorry, wrong one. First base is Harper's longevity plan, hence the extension talk. Yeah, maybe. Harper changed the vibe when he did that slide in London trying to embarrass the Mets. I'll always believe it. I mean, since then, 2 things changed the vibes. That and Ranger Suarez, his wife, coming up from wherever he's from, Venezuela, the Dominican, wherever. That was the start of the turnaround. We've been basically a 500 baseball team since London last year. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy how mediocre and average this Phillies team has been for a while. Guys, we're coming up to the final 5 minutes. Guys, if you haven't already, hit that like button, share button, subscribe. We're at 493. Gained 2 more subscribers today. We are 7 away. 7 away from the big number. 7 away from 500. Let's go. Let's get those buttons. 13 likes on the video. Not good enough, but we'll take it. What do we got on deck this week? Well, we're a week away from the draft. We'll talk more Eagles draft. We'll do multiple mock drafts this week. We're going to continue talking Phillies, but there's another Phillies game tonight. We'll continue talking Sixers. I got to do more deep diving into this Daryl Morey is staying conversation. My Jalen Hurts favorite quote, money is nice, championships are better. Harper quote, I need more money so I know my family will be in 7 years. Look, you never fault a guy for thinking of family first. But if Jalen Hurts said, I need more money so I know where my family will be in 7 years, Philadelphia would destroy Jalen Hurts. But Bryce Harper, it's okay. Jalen Hurts has got the title. He could be a pompous, arrogant ass. He's brought a Super Bowl to this town. Bryce Harper is not. Big Al, have a great day. We'll talk later this week. I got so much to do today at work as well. Rory was my pick. I didn't bet him. It was a great weekend for golf, though. Fantastic week. I can't wait till Fairway to Heaven tomorrow night, 6 p.m., right here on this channel. Barb, you missed it. I was live for 5 straight hours yesterday. More than 5 straight hours, honestly. It was kind of crazy. The longest I've ever been live for, 5 hours. God damn, that was exhausting. But we're going to do a Thursday night draft party. Jason from Fairway to Heaven will join me. He's a Detroit Lions fan. We're going to do 4 hours or whatever it takes to get through the NFL draft in the first round. That's what we're going to do. Thursday night, live, right here. I don't even know what time I don't know if I can do that, actually. We'll see what time the wife lets me leave work on Thursday. Anyway, so we're going to continue talking Bryce Harper this week. We're going to continue to talk Daryl Morey this week, and we're going to get into draft content this week. We're going to really dive deep into what the Eagles are going to do next week. And I still have no clue. We'll see. Maybe I'll hit up some people for some guests this week, guys. I don't know. We'll see what that goes with and how that goes. But, again, so easy. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. Hit that subscribe button, guys. Please, please, please. Greatly would appreciate it. Greatly would appreciate it. But, Barbara, have a great – oh, wow. Okay, the Eagles pick won't be until almost midnight. I know. It's going to suck. There won't be – if I do a full draft show, Barb, then there will be no trending the next morning. Because there's no way I'll stay up till midnight and be up at 6:30 in the morning to do this. They really needed that base runner. I wasn't even watching the game when it happened, Nooms. So I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is it's bad. It's bad for this team, the way Bryce Harper plays. Sorry. I don't mind being the bad guy. Normally, I'm the good guy. Normally, I'm the delusional, righteous Eagles fan. I don't mind being the honest person and saying what it is. Harper does just need to step it up. He does. Lead by example, Nooms, and we're going to continue this conversation tomorrow. Got to get to work here in a few minutes. So, with that being said, I'll have my notebook back tomorrow, too. Yes, have a great day, Barb. It's great to see you back on the morning show chat with us every single day here. Everybody have a great day. Again, like, share, subscribe. Do what you got to do. Have a great Monday. It's Easter week. We're going to talk about the Easter Bunny. I got my Easter Bunny coffee mug. It's Easter week. Keep the main thing the main thing. That's right. Brazen Cards were home and needed to win. They did. Let's wrap this up for the day. Everybody have a great Monday. Screw the Sixers. Screw Bryce Harper's lack of hustle. Go Birds. Bubbles up.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 pop.